Hello my friends and welcome to Fluff City. I'm super excited for today's tutorial because I'm going to show you guys how simple it is to play as any of the fancy object nodons to make your games look super professional. And not only that, if you stick around, I'm going to show you guys how you can switch between them at will as well. This is going to make for some really awesome games. I can't wait to see what you guys build. Without further ado, let's get started. You're going to have to decide whether you want the person physics, the UFO, or the car. Whichever one you choose will be how the character moves. For today, I've chosen the person nodon because it's pretty easy to maneuver around, and I've hooked up the sticks and then just a couple of buttons for the maneuverability. Then I have a camera that's going right behind him as well. Head into the person nodon settings, and we're going to turn off everything except for solid. Also make sure to set these however you want them for your character. The next step is to decide which of the fancy object nodons you want to use, which one's going to be running around for your level. We're going to be doing 4 today, but let's start with 1. Let's go ahead and grab the famous Fluffball as our first character. Now we just need to resize this Fluffball to about the same size as the person. If it's too big, it'll be in the ground. If it's too small, it'll be floating. Let's head into the settings and turn solid off. We're gonna keep visible on. Doesn't really matter about the other stuff, except we're going to change the connection point to center. Then we're gonna go ahead and connect it up to the person. And just like that, we have a movable Fluffball who's ready to go. So if that's all you came for, then have a wonderful day and enjoy making some awesome games. But there's so much more that we can do with this. If you stick around, you can see the really cool stuff. In order to make some really awesome stuff happen, we're going to have to disconnect this one, and we're going to be using teleporters. So give yourself some space and call up a teleport entrance and a teleport exit as well. The teleport exit is going to be connected to our person, and the teleport entrance will be connected to our fancy object. Let's head into the settings of the exit here, and we're going to make teleport physics reset, turn it invisible, and I like having it on sphere. The other stuff doesn't matter too much, just make sure it's on center connection. As for the entrance, we'll do a little bit of adjusting here as well, turn invisible off, and we need to have it teleport our fluff ball. Also make sure it's on center. Now we're gonna have to have a way to teleport this, something that'll tell it to go. And the best way to do this is going to grab a button nodon. Decide what button you want your fluff ball to be activated by. We're going to use the A button, and you wanna make sure it's on press. Next, let's call up a flag nodon, which we're going to be using to tell this thing when to teleport. We'll set the A button to turn it on, and then teleport when this is happening. To get the off switch, we're going to clone this A button, and then we're going to set it to the other teleport buttons I'm using. You could also just set a certain button to be going into the off switch as well. So when we press A, it's going to teleport, and when we press the other buttons, it will turn off. We want this fluff ball to be starting on the person already, so we're going to go into the state change on start, and we're also going to hook this up to the flag here. So if we go into the game, it's automatically going to have the fluff ball here. Because our person's invisible, this is probably a good idea. Now, the good news for this next part is if you kept your code neat, all you have to do is double click and drag. We're going to copy this whole section of code here, except for the on start nodon. We're gonna put it right next to this one. Since we're gonna have 4 different things we want to be able to use for teleporting, let's copy this 3 times, just like that. Now we just need to change the settings for these other things. Inside the fancy object nodon, you might notice that you can actually change the fancy object from here. So let's make this one an alien. Then we're going to resize it back up so it's not floating. And we're just going to change this button here. So let's have this one be the B button. And we need to change the off port here to everything but the B button. Do the same process for these other 2 and make them whatever you want. Also, remember to go into the teleporter and change the settings to whatever you want to teleport, as well as the teleport ID. So we're gonna make that one B and teleporting the alien. Then we're going to make this one Yeti and C. And the last one is going to be our fish and D. Just like that, we should be good. Now we just need to copy the teleporters here, and they automatically add an ID since you can only have 1 teleport exit per ID. So connect those all up to the person, and you're getting pretty close to ready. Alright, so we have our fluff ball, and we press the X button, and there we have the Yeti. B button, we have the alien. In A, we have fluff ball again, fish. It looks pretty cool falling through the earth. If you like that, then go ahead and keep it, but I'm going to show you guys how to get rid of it. There's also a kind of interesting effect if you have it on not movable or zero gravity, and then you change characters, they just stay in the air. You can have this kind of cool transition going on. I don't know what kind of games would use it, but maybe somebody will find it useful. Thankfully, this is a really easy fix as well. All we need to do is call up a special object and a texture. We're going to leave this one blank, and we're going to connect it to our fancy object. Size it down just so it doesn't take up too much space. And we just need to call up a not node on. So this not node on is going to say when the flag is not on, then the object will not be visible. And copy this for all 4. Now that we have that set up, the characters' bodies shouldn't be around here, which is great. And also, when we change characters, it's going to be a lot better. Even when we're jumping, we can change characters, and it's pretty seamless. However, you can put a little bit of smoke on and a sound effect to make it even better for your games. Once you have all of that set up for finishing touches, let's go ahead and grab an effect. I think that the smoke effect, it looks really nice for this particular thing. And then we're going to go ahead and grab a button here, hook it up to the smoke, make sure it's all the buttons that you're using for teleporting, and we can do it on press as well. Then you can add a sound effect as well. I think the best sound effect for this one is under funny, and there's one called cork pop. It's just a really interesting sound effect that I found works really well with the teleporting. Make sure you hook up your button presses as here as well. Let's take a listen and a look. Alright, it's looking and sounding good. Remember to turn your jump button to something that's not your teleport button. Otherwise, you'll be having to teleport every time you jump. If this video has helped you guys out at all, remember to leave a like and a comment down below to help with the YouTube algorithm. I appreciate you guys so much. Until next time, happy experimenting, and God bless.